Today we're reacting to 13 things you need to know before going to Germany.
This is from Feli from Germany. We did one of her videos before, a long time ago on our other channel actually, about German brands you mispronounce, which was an interesting one. So now we're going to see things to know about Germany before going to Germany.
If there's other videos about Germany you'd like us to check out, let us know in the comments. Maybe more from her. She seems very informative. So let us know down below. Here we go.
From a German native.
What is blurred out right there?
Hallo, servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but have been living in Cincinnati, Ohio, off and on since 2016.
Dang, Ohio.
That's probably the worst place you could have moved.
Now, traveling isn't really a thing right now, but I know that many of you can't wait until that's going to be possible again. And I know that many of you are planning your future trips in your heads. And for all of you who've always wanted to visit Germany, or even move to Germany, I'm sharing some things that you should definitely know before you go. These are things that I usually tell friends who go to Germany for the first time, but I'm sure that many of you guys could benefit from this as well.
They have different
The first one sounds pretty obvious, but believe me, people forget about this all the time.
I'm sure Americans
Different
do.
countries have different outlets and voltages. So if you're from the US, you'll need to bring or buy an adapter if you want to use your electrical devices, because your American plugs won't fit into a German outlet.
It's interesting that when we're here, like in Asia, that's where we've been traveling around a lot recently. A solid chunk of places we go to use US plugs still.
Yeah.
Here in the Philippines, it's all US plugs.
Or they at least have the every type of plug thing.
China sometimes doesn't, but all the hotels always have the like every one.
Yeah. So that's nice for us.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about that too much all the time.
And our European plugs sometimes kind of suck and then they fall out.
Yeah, they're like $2 on Amazon.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
We also have a voltage of 220, 230 volt in Germany, whereas it's only 120 in the US. And not all electronic devices can handle the switch, so be sure that you do some research about that before you go. Especially hair dryers and hair straighteners usually don't work with a different voltage. I actually broke a hair straightener once because I tried using my German one in the US and that just made it stop working. What does work usually though is laptops and phone chargers and those kind of things. And even though I am obviously aware that the outlets are different, I totally forgot about it this past Christmas when I went home to be with my family, because I got a new laptop recently in the US that came with an American charger, and I totally forgot that for the first time ever I would need an adapter that goes from American plug to German plug and not the other way around. But luckily my dad has a bunch of
I bought a laptop in Dubai and it has Dubai plugs, which is like the 3 thick prongs. So now when I use it at home or in any other country, now I have to have an adapter for it, and it's big and heavy.
That is one thing that happens in Asia too. If you order, a lot of the products come from different countries around, or like a Chinese product that's manufactured for a different country that you can get for cheaper, and then that one has a different plug, and then you have to have an adapter, even if it's just something you use all the time.
Come on, guys, let's just all use the American one.
Yeah, it's universal standard and it has to be American.
adapters, and one of them actually fit. Then, of course, we also use a different currency in Germany. It's the euro.
They should be using the US dollar
Oh,
too.
yeah.
Just
Just
kidding.
like many other countries in the European Union. And at least compared to the US, we also use a different measurement system, the metric system with kilometers instead of miles, etc. Even though the US really is the odd one out here.
They just call us the odd one out.
The next point causes a pretty big shock for many people who visit Germany for the first time. Stores are closed on Sundays, even grocery stores. So make sure to plan ahead, because the only places you'll be able to find any groceries on a Sunday are stores at train stations and gas stations. This has a Christian background, but it also has to do with workers' rights. In Germany, we believe that everyone should be able to get a rest day on Sunday and spend time with their family. Restaurants, movie theaters, and those kind of things are usually open though.
That is like the most un-American thing ever. Companies would want you to work throughout the weekend if they could make you.
Yeah, I mean, you need less rest, so that's why you got to order your groceries online and then go to the drive-thru so you can eat and do all that stuff while you're on your way to work.
The only place that is closed on Sundays is Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, and that's because they're very religious.
Yep, and they hate gay people and probably a lot of other things.
Even if you're only in Germany for a day, you should make sure to carry cash on you. Germany has a pretty big cash culture, and there might be quite a few occasions where you won't be able to pay electronically, like when you want to get something at a bakery, a kiosk, small stores that don't accept card payments, or things like parking machines. You can either get some cash from the ATM in Germany, but be aware that there will probably be an ATM fee and a currency conversion fee if your bank account isn't in euros, or you can also ask your bank at home to get some euros to you before you leave. That might be the best option actually, because that way you'll also have some cash right when you arrive in case you need it. What you shouldn't do though is exchange money at the airport, because it'll be a lot more expensive.
Big scam.
Shouldn't do though is...
It's interesting she mentions here to like let your bank know you're traveling before you go. I don't know if this happens with like other banks, but like some of the big banks in the US don't even do anything about that anymore. Like that's something we used to have to do before we travel, but now I don't.
This video is 4 years old. Probably around that time where they kind of swapped that, because you definitely used to. I have a smaller bank. Well, one of my banks is a smaller bank, so I still had to like call before. But no, I have a bigger bank and you don't have to. And then Amex is like, whatever, do what you want.
Is exchange money at the airport, because it'll be a lot more expensive. Damn, how do you cut something out in Photoshop? Can you help me organize before I...
Sorry, if you want to support her, go to the video and check it out. We don't want to react to a sponsor. At least she like shows it.
Now let's talk about what you need to know about driving in Germany, because there are a few differences that you should be aware of before you get behind.
We do know we need to go on a Germany road trip, so this is good for us.
Good to know.
First thing is that gas is a lot more expensive in Germany than it is in the US.
Never
it's about
mind.
3 times as expensive. So if you were going to rent a car and just drive around Germany or Europe, that's not going to be as cheap as you probably expected. In fact, it might be a lot cheaper to get around by bus or train. We have a pretty good train system all over Germany and over Europe too. And especially if you're just staying within one city in Germany, public transportation might be a more convenient and less stressful option for you too, because traffic can be a little crazy, the drivers can be aggressive, and parking in a German city is usually a nightmare.
German drivers aggressive? I thought they'd be like chill in Germany.
Yeah, like following all of the rules.
Yeah.
I guess maybe if you don't follow a rule, then they're aggressive. I don't know.
Maybe. I don't know. That's very interesting.
I wonder how it would compare to like what we've experienced in all the different countries.
Driving in Georgia was pretty crazy.
Yeah. The people weren't aggressive there, but they would just do whatever they wanted.
Yeah, whatever they wanted. But that's the thing about like public transportation. We could use it, but then we basically only be able to go to cities. You won't be able to stop at any of the dang like national parks or anything like that.
And even if they have like a bus that goes to the national park, it's like, oh, it's actually more expensive than a normal bus, and then you're kind of stuck in that one area of the park.
They drop you off at the entrance, and then you're like, okay, I guess I'm walking 20 miles to the mountain I want to climb. It's a little unfortunate. That's always a big thing, especially when we travel around the U.S., is you basically have to get a car in the U.S., and that adds so much money. Usually that's the biggest expense.
Yeah.
Ouch.
To get gas, you should know that you pump first in Germany and then pay afterwards. And you don't usually pay at the pump, but you'll have to go inside afterwards to do so. The regular gas in Germany is called Super, but of course you can always look at what it says inside of the gas cap as to what kind you should put in the tank. Then of course there are different driving laws in Germany, so be sure to check those out before you get on the streets. 2 major things are that you can't turn right on red, and you always need to watch out for cyclists and pedestrians, especially when turning right. I found that that's not really something that people learn in driver's ed in the States, because in many American towns, people walking or riding their bike isn't really a thing. For everything else, like the street signs, speed limits, and driving on the highway, the Autobahn, you can check out my video on driving if you want to learn more. This one might be kind of shocking to Americans. In Germany, it's legal to drink alcohol in public, and Germans do that a lot too, especially in the summer. So don't be surprised by that, and who knows, maybe you're gonna try it too and get a cool experience out of it if you can just sit by the river on a warm summer night with a 50-cent beer from the corner store. And yes, beer is pretty cheap in Germany, but it's still very, very good.
It's weird that land of the free, you can't drink alcohol by the river.
There's no freedoms in the land of the free.
It's probably a good thing. There's a lot of hooligans in the dang U.S. I feel like that would be very poor for a lot of people to be running around drunk here.
Some people would benefit from it, but more people would whatever the opposite of benefit is.
Detriment.
Yeah, there'd be more detriment from it, I feel like, in the U.S.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting characters, you could say.
Yeah.
I mean, you see, like, we went on like the public transportation in the U.S. in our state one single time, and that was a horror show.
Yeah.
I don't know what was going on.
We're lucky that there was like a sporting event going on, because there was a lot of just like people from all around the state just going on that to get to the sporting event, because that's what you would take to get there. But if there was not, I think we may have been robbed.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, if you visit Germany as a tourist, you're probably gonna spend a lot of time at restaurants. So here's a few things that you should know about that. So when you walk into a restaurant, you can usually just seat yourself and don't have to wait for someone to show you to a table.
Good to know.
Then you won't get ice in your drinks unless you ask for it, but even then, it'll probably just be a couple of ice cubes. The sizes of drinks are also pretty small in comparison to the States, just like almost everything in Germany.
free
And
refills.
water is not free at German restaurants. If you order water, you usually get bottled water, either
We
still
live off of free
or
water.
sparkling, which Germans are huge fans of. Once you're done, you have to ask the
Sparkling
waiter for
water.
the check.
We love a lot of stuff about Germany, but we still cannot get behind no free water and sparkling water.
We were in Italy. It was super hot. We went into a store. You know, the bottles are in Italian. We grabbed one of the things that said mineral water, and apparently it was sparkling mineral water, and we were walking around chugging this stuff, and it was horrible.
We'd get so thirsty, and then we'd drink it, and be like,
And then we ended up shaking it until eventually the carbonation kind of went away and it got flat. It's a little better that way.
They won't bring it to you automatically, and you're probably gonna have to flag them down because they're not gonna check on you all the time. And then they'll usually have you pay right at the table, either with cash, or you can also pay with your card in most restaurants, but you'll have to let them know because they'll have to get the little device first. Now, when it comes to tipping, we tip around 10% in Germany, and the way it works is that you just tell the waiter directly what you want to round it up to. So if your check is 20 euros and you want to tip them 2 euros, you just tell them to make it 22 and you'll get the change for that. It works the same way with card payments too, so make sure to tell them the tip before you insert your card. Also,
I didn't
just
expect tipping in Germany, actually. I thought that was a big American thing.
people, a lot of, from what we've heard, different people from Europe seem to hate the tipping culture in the U.S.
Is the tip percentage going up like at an extreme rate in Germany like it is in the U.S.? Suddenly, it was always 15% for a while. At least I remember, like, in high school, it was always 15% for me. Now it's like minimum 20.
Yeah, the thing usually, at least with like our families, was the expectation's 15%, but we would usually do 20% or something if it was like fine service. And then now, literally, when they flip their like iPad to you,
it's like 18, 20, 25.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's crazy. 25% tip. Oh,
Is there
Adds
service
up.
charge in Germany too?
I don't know.
Maybe not if there's tip.
The
I don't know.
waiters in Germany might seem kind of cold compared to the ones in the US. You'll have to flag them down if you need something, and they're probably not going to be as friendly, which has to do with the fact that they don't have to rely on tips as much, but also with the German customer service in general. Please don't let it scare you off, but the customer service in Germany is pretty bad compared to the US, at least in my opinion. I know that many Germans are going to disagree with me in the comments, but if you're used to American standards, it's very likely that some of the people working in German customer service will make you feel like you're bothering them or annoying them. If that happens, please don't think that it has anything to do with you being a tourist or not speaking German. It's nothing personal. They treat me like that too. Of course, there's also many great people working in customer service who are lovely to talk to, but unfortunately, that's not the standard in Germany.
Interesting.
It seems like, I mean, like, sure, you can be a whatever you want to be, but it's weird to be getting paid to like do a job where you're serving people and then you get annoyed when you have to serve people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's just Americans always have like a way too where we like somebody acts a certain way and then we're like, why are they doing that? Do they hate me?
Yeah.
Did I do something?
Yeah.
Which maybe that's just how that person is. But it's probably a stereotype. Dude, there's probably a lot of friendly people.
For sure, there's some friendly people, right?
Everyone says people from Paris are super mean, but I remember thinking that when I went to Paris, and the first restaurant I went to, the like waitress was super friendly, and I was like, oh, There was just a stereotype.
Stereotypes.
One of the most popular topics of complaint among tourists is that you have to pay to use the bathroom in Germany. Now, it's possible that that's going to be the case. Like at rest stops on the highway, you'll find these bathrooms with turnstiles, and at some public bathrooms, there will be a person sitting with a tipping plate, but that's not always the case, and at restaurants, it's usually free. But yes, sometimes you'll have to pay for using a public bathroom, so it's always best to carry some change on
As long as it's clean, then.
Yeah, then please.
you, just in case. Germans like rules, and they like to follow the rules, and that includes stopping
why
at
the
a red
driving
pedestrian
thing's
light.
surprising.
So, no jaywalking in Germany. And by that I mean that you won't see a lot of Germans jaywalk, and many of them don't like it when others do it either. Which, by the way, applies to other rules too. You may even get reminded by strangers to follow the rules. Besides the whole no jaywalking thing, some of these rules are to stay right on escalators to let people pass on the left.
Okay.
And, very, very important, don't walk or stand in bike lanes. Next to the sidewalk, there's usually a bike lane, and there are many, many cyclists in German cities. And if you block the bike lane, you may either cause an accident, or you'll probably have a person on their bike ring their bell at you, or even yell at you. In case you happen to turn on the TV or want to go see a movie in Germany, don't be surprised if your favorite American actor suddenly speaks German, because almost everything is dubbed in Germany. We do consume a lot of American movies and shows in Germany, but Germans aren't big fans of subtitles. And even though more and more people do consume English media in their original version nowadays, the norm in Germany is the dubbed versions. Some movie theaters do show movies in the original versions too, though. You'll just have to look out for the little addition behind the title that says OV.
Okay.
Many of you have probably heard the cliche that Germans are pretty reserved and rather cold, and there's actually a lot of truth to that. So before you go to Germany, you should definitely know that Germans don't usually talk to strangers a lot, and we aren't big on small talk, so don't expect to have some nice conversations with people at the store or something. It depends on who you interact with, of course, but at first sight, Germans can come off as unfriendly, especially when compared to Americans. It's nothing personal though, it's just a cultural difference. But if you ever have a concrete question, don't hesitate to approach a German and ask them, because Germans are usually very glad to help.
Good to know. Good to know.
Now, how should I ask someone for advice if I don't speak German? Well, most Germans do know some English. They may have a thick accent and may not be able to have a full conversation, but they'll definitely be able to, give you directions.
Hey, we met a friendly German. No, wait, he was Austrian. Hans? Is he Austrian or German? Oh, he was Swiss.
German-Swiss, though, I believe.
He was a friendly guy. I think he was living in solitude.
He was...
So he probably just wanted any human interaction possible.
He was he had quite interesting worldviews. He's borderline conspiracy theorist sort of stuff.
That's our impression of Germany based on that one man.
The one man is not even really from Germany.
It was a weird,
We've definitely met some German people on our travels, very quickly.
And did they talk to us?
Probably not.
No. The price of something. Many Germans also speak pretty good English, so those of you who come to Germany and do speak some German and want to use it, don't be thrown off if you speak to someone in German and they reply in English. It's a thing that many Germans do, and I know that it can come off as rude in a way, but they usually just want to make life easier for the two of you because they know that German is a difficult language, and if they think that their English is better than your German, they may think that they can make the conversation more efficient by switching to English. So please don't be offended by that. If you really, really want to practice your German, I'm sure you can just ask them to stick with German. The last point on my list is mainly targeted at people who want to move to Germany. Now, when you move into a new place, be prepared that it might come entirely empty. And by that I mean that there won't even be blinds, curtains, or light bulbs in it, and oftentimes not even a kitchen. So the space where the kitchen is supposed to be will just have a bunch of cables and pipes stick out of the wall, and you'll be responsible for getting all of the appliances
even when
and
you
cabinets.
rent.
Also, leases are usually unlimited in Germany, unless it's like a sublease or something. But in the US, I found that a lease usually has an end date, 1 year in a lot of cases, and then you can either renew it or end it. You won't have to do that in Germany. Also, when looking for a place, you should be aware that a bedroom can be really small in Germany, so you should always look at the size of the room or the apartment and not just the number of bedrooms, because a 3-bedroom apartment in Germany could be smaller than a 1-bedroom in the States. Also, bedrooms don't have closets in Germany, so you'll need a wardrobe or a dresser to put your clothes in. And there are many more differences regarding German and American houses. So if you're interested in that, you can just click here and check out my video about differences at home.
That was a well-timed card.
That was. She
So those were
pointed
13
right to
things
it and
that
it popped up. But those are the 13 things that we need to know, apparently.
So she said that the leases they don't have an end date. So that means you can just cancel it whenever you want.
And it just goes forever? And does the price go up and down?
Yeah. Can the landlord not raise the rent then? Like, is it just like fixed until you leave? Are these questions sounding super American? And you're like, wait, the landlord raises the rent on people who rent?
They do all the time. And then if there's a natural disaster, they raise it even more because the demand went up.
Yeah.
Because in America, we're taught that the economy is a natural force. Humans don't control it whatsoever. It's just a force of nature.
Everything has to be based off stock market, up, down, you know?
Humans don't have any input. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.